Hey everybody, what's up? This is 8-Bit Eric, and I thought it would be fun to make a series of videos on the Legend of Zelda. Most notably, Majora's Mask. It is considered probably the most dark Legend of Zelda game in the whole series, full of imagery, symbolism, all sorts of inferences can be made about the characters in the game. There's a ton of theories about it, and I just thought I would like to throw my opinion on some of the things I liked about the game. Today, we are going to talk about the Deku Butler and his son. Now, the Deku Butler is the Deku King's assistant, and in the game, there's a couple of instances where he mentions his son. The Deku Butler's son is a character that is mentioned in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, but is never officially seen in the game. It's implied that the withered tree in the caves beneath Clock Town may be the remains of his son, and that the form Link takes while wearing the Deku mask may be that of the Butler's son. That's kind of deep if you think about it. The whole message of the game is about death and healing. I mean, the Song of Healing itself is about, renewing somebody's spirit, rest in their soul. You do that with the Goron spirit, the Zora spirit, and the whole game just has that atmosphere. And that tree is one of the first things you see in the game, and it's very striking. When you come upon it in the caves, right when you're in the intro of the game, you're just hit with a sudden emotional appeal that makes you feel a little bit of sorrow. Prior to the events of Majora's Mask, the Deku Butler's son lived at the Deku Palace with his father. He was said to enjoy racing his father through the maze-like Deku Shrine beneath the palace. But for whatever reason, the Deku Butler's son left and never returned. All the masks in Majora's Mask seem to be inhabited by a character's soul, which allow Link to transform or use a unique ability. When Link first enters Termina, the Skull Kid puts a curse on Link, turning him into a Deku Scrub. Soon after, Link stumbles across the twisted tree that resembles a Deku Scrub, and Tattle remarks on how the tree looks sad. Later, when Link is to receive an item from the Deku Butler, the Butler initiates a race in which he guides Link through a series of obstacles. If Link's able to keep up with him and reach the end, he is given the Mask of Sense. Before Link leaves the shrine, the Deku Butler apologizes for moving too fast and mentions that when he looks at Link, he's reminded of his son. Now, one of the most saddening scenes of this game is actually during the end credits of the game that help prove this theory true. During the game's end credits, the Deku Butler can be seen crying next to the twisted Deku-like tree seen in the caverns under Clock Town, which may imply he has finally found his long-lost son. It is possible that when the Skull Kid cursed Link, he somehow infused him with the spirit of the Deku Butler's son, which may have somehow extracted him from his body, leaving the twisted tree reminiscent of what his living form might have looked like. When Link broke the curse using the Song of Healing, he helped seal the spirit of the Deku Butler's son inside the Deku Scrub mask. This theory is further supported by the Deku Scrub statue, which looks notably similar to the twisted tree and different from Link's Deku form. It has 3 leaves on top instead of hair, for example. So I just thought this was a nice little story that wasn't really touched upon, it was just implied. It contributes to the mood and tone of Majora's Mask, that sadness, that deep sorrow, that regret, that missing somebody, that longing for something that used to be. It's kind of poetic in a way, and I think the Deku Butler and his son's story is a nice little touch that I wanted to share my thoughts on. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot. Peace out.